Recording now.
Okay.
Hi, this is Getrude Matshe here in Wellington, New Zealand. And I am really excited today to introduce to you the HerStory podcast. That's going to feature a series of women's stories from all over the world. And I specifically picked women over the age of 50 because I'm over the age of 50. And it has been fascinating, the women that I am talking to globally who have had extreme life challenges with ups and downs. And today I am talking to Dorez Douglas. Dorez, hi, how are you?
Hi there, Getrude. I'm doing great.
It's so nice to meet you.
It's so nice to meet you too. We get to see a face now with the name.
Now, you have gone through a lot of challenges in your life, and I would like my listeners to get to know who you are a little bit and what helps you kick back each time life knocks you back, because you have had a few setbacks and you just seem to have this resilience and get up all the time. But to start off, I want you to tell me in one sentence, if somebody was to ask you a tagline or a headline for your life, what would that be?
Oh, that's a good question. Oh, let me see. Okay, on the spot, let me see what I can come up with. I would say a woman battles the odds to prove that you can overcome no matter what your beginning was.
Fantastic. So, say your name again because I'm butchering people's names. Age and say where you're from.
Okay, a lot of people do butcher the name, so don't worry. It's Dorez Douglas, and I'm from Los Angeles. Well, I'm born and raised in Detroit, Michigan, but I'm from Los Angeles. I'm in Los Angeles now, and I'm 68 years old.
Fantastic. What would you say was your first major life challenge?
I think my first one was when I was 16 because I was such an optimistic kid and just full of life, and I was real aggressive and just felt like anything I want in life I can have, I can make it happen. That was my attitude at 16. And so my parents, to them, it was like, oh my goodness, this wild child, what are we going to do with her? But I always still believed in the goodness of people. And I think a lot of that comes from my father. He was a minister, and he always believed that no matter what a person is doing, they have a good heart. So he had a record shop, and I used to go out and help out at the record shop, go after school. And so I was all excited about it, and I loved going there every day. And I met this boy who used to come in to the record shop all the time, and he'd buy records and with his little allowance or whatever, And so my father sort of took a liking to him, and he saw him in a completely different light than what he turned out to be like. But in my father's eyes, it's like, oh, this poor misguided, boy that I could help, if I could just give him some words of wisdom. And because he sort of took to him, I trusted him. And so I ended up in a situation where he asked me to come to his place, supposedly because he saw that I had a flair for like decorating and stuff. So anybody who wanted any of my knowledge, I was all for it. I'm like, yes, I'll go by there, not even thinking like, who goes to somebody's apartment? But because I thought of him through my father's eyes, I thought, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go there. I'm gonna give him some decorating tips, and then we'll come back to the shop. And I go there to give him the decorating tips, and all of a sudden, without any warning, he just leaped on me, pushed me down on the bed, and tried to rape me. And he got as far as he could go, but because I was a virgin, it was hurting, and I screamed, and I think that scared him and like kind of shocked him back to himself, and he stopped. And so we got back to the shop. I didn't say a word to my parents about it. I never said a word to anybody in all this time, and I'm telling it to you.
Oh, wow. What made you hold back telling your parents?
I think it's because in my father's eyes, the way my father saw him, I felt like that would just devastate him. To think that he was that, bad at judging this boy's character, and that it would be a letdown to him. And then I thought, because he always thought so much of me, because I was a daddy's girl, I thought that he would think, I can't believe you would you would let yourself get in that situation, but because I grew up in a family where they didn't discuss sex or discuss rape or anything, here I am, the daughter of a minister, and my mother was a real stout Christian, so there was not going to be any talk of, dating even at that stage. And so I think I was scared to disappoint them and to hurt them. And rather than, it might have helped me, but in my mind, I wanted to help them. I wanted to protect them.
So what did that incident do for you for the rest of your life in terms of trusting people, trusting men? It was a nasty incident, but was there a silver lining in that?
The silver lining was that it woke me up to the fact that you can't just trust people because somebody else trusts them. And also woke me up to the fact that sometimes people present one face, to people, and then another face to somebody that they're going to harm, and so it's sort of like when you hear these stories of a serial killer and he had a family, or he has a girlfriend, like, he didn't hurt her, why is that? So it woke me up in that respect. It made me grow up quicker, because I was up to then just sort of still a child, childlike in a lot of my ways. But experience, it really changed me in the sense of knowing that you can't trust people, but also that you have to learn to listen to your instinct. Because my initial instinct when I got to his house, like you get this feeling, like people say, oh, I just got a feeling, and I got it, but it was brief, and it sort of reminds me of what Oprah used to say on her show, when she said, sometimes God whispers, it's in your ear, you hear something, a voice is telling you something's not right, but you're not listening. And so that's what it did for me. It made me really realize you got to pay attention to people, but you have to also pay attention to your instincts about them.
Oh, wow. Now, you strike me as being a serial entrepreneur because you've had a few business ventures, and at the age of 68, you're still going. Tell me a little bit about your career.
Okay. Well, one of the things, since you mentioned that about the rape and what it did for me, one thing it did do for me, it made me not want to be dependent on a man. So I never thought about that. That's where my entrepreneurial spirit probably got kicked off at that time. But I realize now, looking back, that I think that fired me up and made me, feel like I want to have my own money and my own, life and have control. And so all my life I've been like that. Even when I would work regular jobs, I'd sit there and look at the people that were my bosses and supervisors and stuff, and I'd say, how did they get this company started? Or, how did they do this or that? So I think that's what started it. And so from like probably, I would say in my 20s, was when I first started thinking, I'm going to have a business. But at that time I was I had just left college, and I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do with my life. I thought I wanted to be a journalist at the time. So I took all these writing, classes, and I was into it. And then I was like, no, I don't think I want to do that. Once I found out what all they really do have to do, I was like, no, I don't think. So I started, my first business was a secretarial business. And that's because I could type very well. And so people kept saying, you type so good, so fast. You should do something with that. So when I moved to Los Angeles, I didn't know how I was going to make a living while I was looking for work. So I set up a secretarial business. And of course, people would laugh now. They would howl with laughter if they could see my little word processor that I was using. And this is before the internet. But anyway, I was using this little word processor and typing up like college term papers and letters that people needed notarized or whatever, and all that kind of stuff. So that was the very first business, and that was in probably the early 1980s.
Okay.
And then I progressed. I got interested in the entertainment business, which I had been interested in all my life, but I didn't really see a possibility of doing it. But that led me to meet a lady who worked in the entertainment business, and that got me my start with that.
Wow. So what is your current business venture now?
My current venture is, several things. One is that over the years, I learned so much about business. I wanted to teach other people how to run a business. And I could see a lot of people have ideas, but they don't know how to go from an idea to actually making something happen. So I decided I would help people that wanted to do that. And at first I was just doing it for fun, just helping people out was more of a hobby. But then I decided, a friend of mine actually decided, she said, you got to stop doing this as a favor to people. She said, there are people paying people to do this. And so I started a consulting business, and I would teach people how to connect with other people in the entertainment business. And so that got me started as a coach, in a sense. And then I went from that, well, actually before that, I'm sorry, I'm getting the story backwards. Before I started that business, my daughter had come out of fashion school and decided she wanted to be a designer, and she wanted to start her own fashion line. So together, she and I started that. And so that got us going, and that was really our first business. And then after that, I got the consultant business going. And then now we have two businesses. In addition, we stopped the fashion business about 6 or 7 years ago, maybe longer. And we started a cosmetics line called Nicolette Beauty. And then recently, in the last few weeks, we started a handbag business, and we're selling handbags, imported handbags. And that company is called Nacello. That's Nacelo, Nacello Boutique. So those are like the three things that I have going now. And then my fourth thing you're going to be interested in, maybe. I'm a producer. I've just started producing a film. And that's going to be an exciting venture. Yeah. So next year we're going to be producing it. This year we just produced like a small portion of it so that we could use that to raise the money.
Oh, wow. You are just constantly on the go. So
yeah,
where do you draw your strength from? What motivates you? What keeps you going?
Part of it is that I believe in God, and I believe that I'm being led by a higher power to do certain things. But the other part of it is like a fire in the belly. I hear people say that. I used to hear that expression, but I didn't really understand it. But I do have that. I don't know why. And I think some of it also is my daughter, because she's so dynamic. She's such a dynamic young lady and so determined to make her businesses work. And so a lot of times when I would feel like, oh, I can't go another day, I can't get up and do this another day, I'll look at her and I'm thinking like, I want to leave a legacy for her. I want her to be the first generation, to be able to be successful in a business. Now, although actually she's not the first, my brother was the very first, the one who passed away, my brother.
Yeah.
He was a plastic surgeon. And so he was actually the first to sort of break out in our family.
Yeah.
And make something of him, and do well. But yeah, I get my biggest motivation from my daughter.
Fantastic. So what would you say to a woman over the age of 50 who's feeling like she's come to the end of her life and is in a rut and just doesn't know how to kick themselves out?
The first thing I would say is start surrounding yourself with people who are younger than you. That was one of the mistakes I made at first. Well, luckily I have a daughter, so she keeps me in the know and up to date. But you really do, when you're older, you can get in a rut and you can get used to just being at home and leading your nice little quiet life, and it can become a trap. And then you become comfortable with it, and then you think, I'm too old to try to do anything else. And the work world will make you feel like you're too old. I used to try to go out and apply for jobs when I turned 50. And I remember people would look at me like, oh, gosh, she's 50. You would have thought I said I was 100. But I learned after that I needed to surround myself with young people. I also needed to get involved in what they're doing. So it doesn't always have to be my idea or something that I came up with. Sometimes you can just be talking to somebody and you find out that they can sew or they can knit or they know how to, they have crafts, the ability to do crafts or make things. They can bake, whatever it is. A lot of times that can be turned into a business. And sometimes they just need a little help and wisdom from you as an older person. So you need to start thinking of your life as being, instead of looking at it backwards and saying, I'm so old now, it's too late to do anything. You need to say, I'm so old now, I have a lot of wisdom to share, and somebody out there. And so if you can get yourself in that way of thinking, I think you'll be surprised at how that fire will come back and you'll get out of that rut.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for this interview.
Oh, thank you for having me. Your message made my day.
Thank you.